This man is chained up from head to toe and escorted onto a prisoner transport plane. With a twist of his neck, he dislodges an iron-clad tooth. He uses it to pick the locks, lying in wait for the engine to burst into flames. The plane breaks up, and with everyone adrift in weightlessness, it slams into the icy valley below. Dozens of prisoners survive by luck. After a deadly brawl with the Marshals, they flee into the wild. Meanwhile, Havelock, the classified inmate who masterminded the crash, steps out of the wreckage. He steals a dead Marshal's uniform, disguising himself as a blinded Marshal injured in the attack. Sheriff Frank rescues him and takes him to the hospital. Frank's wife kindly tends to Havelock, but he seizes the chance to kidnap her when no one's looking. Agent Sidney finds the tape Havelock left behind and plays it for Frank. Using Frank's wife as leverage, Havelock threatens to harm her unless Frank does him a favor. Locate a specific prisoner from the transport plane, seat 12A.
If you find him, if you hand him over, I'll be set free.
Sidney urges Frank to agree to the deal, but he refuses. It's not a cop's job to strike under-the-table deals with criminals. Yet the target surrenders himself voluntarily. The runaway prisoner lurches into the road, blocking the family's car. The woman pulls out a gun in terror, but the prisoner doesn't hurt them. Instead, he slams his metal arms on the hood, breaking them open to spill hidden cash. He desperately begs the woman to take the money.
Take me to the police!
This prisoner is none other than Henry, the one who's Saturday in seat 12A. He used to work as a financial auditor for the underworld, but secretly embezzled money from them. The gang hunted him down, intent on burning him alive. After a month in a coma, Henry lost both arms, and now he's wanted for wire fraud and money laundering. Frank asks Henry how he knows Havelock and why he surrendered voluntarily. But Henry just smiles and says nothing. Arrogance on Sing as he demands Frank call his superiors. Frank flies into a rage. He flips the table and pins Henry against the wall. Henry jumps in fright, but still refuses to share any information. Left with no choice, Frank warns Henry to think it over. If he doesn't spill anything useful soon, Frank will drag him to the mountain and dispose of his body. On the other side, Havelock imprisons Frank's wife in a hidden location. He then calls the CIA director. As soon as she recognizes that voice, the director's alertness spikes, urgently ordering her subordinates to trace his position. But not only can they not locate Havelock, their computers are also infected with his malware. If Havelock dies within 72 hours and fails to enter the code at the specified address, the dead man's switch will activate. It will send the classified archive straight to the CIA's enemies. The director dares not order his execution anymore. Havelock hangs up only to find Frank's wife gone. He grabs his gun and heads outside when Sarah lunges at him, snatching the weapon. Unfazed, Havelock is certain she won't dare pull the trigger. Weak and unsteady, Sarah tumbles down the stairs. Havelock restrains her to a pipe, then opens a case and presses a knife to her throat. At the same time, Frank's son Luke is also in mortal danger. The boy drives his female classmate to a mountain cabin for fun, only to get the tires stuck in the snow, leaving the car immobile. They have no choice but to hike up the mountain. With no cell phone signal, they admire the aurora together and spend a romantic night. The next day, Luke grabs a shovel, planning to clear the ice and head back. To his horror, there's an injured man hiding in the trunk, obviously a runaway prisoner. But the town wasn't under alert when they left, so they know nothing about the plane crash or the escaped inmates. The two kids kindly drag the unconscious prisoner back to the cabin to care for him. Seeing his body covered in wounds, the girl assumes he's just a hunter. They're still too naive, never guessing the one they saved with their own hands is a snake about to strike back. Unaware of the danger his son is facing, Frank only dispatches a trooper to fetch Luke from the mountain. Some inmates, unable to withstand the bitter cold, are arrested one after another. The search team reports to Frank that they've found the plane's black box, which will be transported over that afternoon. Frank receives a walkie-talkie sent by Havelock. Sidney then tells him about Archive 6 and the dead man's switch. They speculate Havelock wants to use Henry to broker a deal with the buyer of Archive 6, but the guess is immediately shot down by Henry's testimony. Henry admits he doesn't know Havelock at all. He surrendered to testify against the underworld for the government in exchange for witness protection and a fresh start. Henry has no desire to have any more dealings with criminals, and this completely eliminates the possibility of using him to exchange hostages. To save his wife, Frank comes up with a compromise. He arranges for a colleague to disguise himself as Henry and go meet Havelock for the hostage exchange. However, once at the designated spot, Havelock purposefully creates trouble, making Frank run around in circles. Sidney and the police lie in ambush nearby, but they never spot Havelock's figure. Frank suddenly realizes the truth.
You're not here, are you?
Nope. I never claimed I would be Frank.
Everyone has fallen for a diversionary tactic. The hostage exchange was just a decoy. Sidney hurries to check the data and discovers the black box from the crashed plane is being transported right now. It turns out Havelock's real target is the black box. The team rushes to intercept the transport vehicle. Even after falling off his motorcycle, Frank doesn't dare waste a second. He scrambles back up and sprints onto the bridge. Unfortunately, the transport vehicle only contains 2 tied-up guards and the disassembled black box. They're one step behind Havelock. Frank erupts in fury.
I asked you a question. Where's my fucking wife?
Panic also spreads across Sidney's face. Years earlier, Havelock was a university professor with unique insights into cybersecurity. Havelock was once trained by her personally, yet his actions have far exceeded her expectations. Sidney spots a case in the passenger seat. It's left by Havelock for Frank, stained with blood. Fearing it might be his wife's blood, Frank opens the case trembling. What a relief! There are no severed limbs inside, only his wife's car keys. Frank has been tricked again. He immediately rallies his officers, sparing no effort to hunt down Havelock and save his wife. Based on the car navigation of Frank's wife, the police found the place where she was being detained. Seeing his wife safe and sound, Frank lets out a long sigh of relief. It's clear Havelock left the car keys on purpose, to return Frank's wife to him. Sidney hurries over to question Sarah about Havelock. Annoyed at Sidney, Frank brushes her off with a wave of his hand. Not giving up, Sidney reaches out to her female superior, hoping she will leverage her power to hunt for Havelock. But the director orders her to stop the investigation. Because the CIA uncovers that prior to his defection, Havelock placed an anonymous call to Sidney. This inevitably sparks suspicion that Sidney is secretly aiding him. Sidney vehemently denies it, vowing to capture Havelock alive and clear her name. As soon as she hangs up, Sarah seeks out Sidney to ask questions. She can't understand why Havelock targeted her and her husband. He'd ransacked Frank's belongings the moment he entered their home. Sidney explains that Havelock is learning as much as he can about Frank, hoping to exploit his weaknesses for some purpose. Sarah senses Sidney's unusual familiarity with Havelock and is convinced she's inseparably linked to everything that's happening.
Because you have a secret that this man has exploited.
Regret washes over Sidney's face. Alright, that's it for today's recap. Head over to my homepage. You'll find tons more recaps just like this one. Don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe to the channel. Your support keeps these recaps coming.